A dust storm rolled over the empty plains that evening, but even the roaring wind wasn't loud enough to drown out her voice. "Rancher, every time I bend down you're watching me," she shouted across the yard, cheeks flushed with anger, or maybe something else she didn't want to admit. "Don't you dare deny it." And that moment, that exact moment, was where everything changed, because the man she accused, the quiet rancher everyone believed had a heart carved from stone, simply lowered his hat and didn't deny a single thing. What came next was the story no one in the Wild West ever forgot. The truth is, it didn't begin with fire. It began with silence. Two people who wanted to be seen yet hid behind work, behind pride, behind scars no one could see but both could feel. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why that moment in the yard wasn't an accusation. It was a confession neither of them knew how to make. She arrived at his ranch after 3 days of riding, clothes torn from the wind, her hair tangled, determination burning in her eyes. He hadn't hired her, hadn't expected a woman, and definitely hadn't wanted someone who argued like thunder. But the ranch was dying. He needed help, even if his pride hated admitting it. Her name was Clara, and the rancher, Elias Crowe, was as silent as the mountains behind his land. The first morning, she dropped a bucket in the barn, bent down to pick it up, and felt his eyes on her, sharp, watchful, heavy. She snapped upright and glared at him. "What? Worried I'll break your precious floorboards?" He only muttered, "Just making sure you don't hurt yourself." But she saw something else in the way he turned away, something he hid better than most men hid their guns. For weeks they worked side by side. The ranch came alive slowly, fences repaired, cattle strengthened, water lines fixed. But Clara noticed things. The way Elias paused before entering the barn, the long scar across his ribs, the nights he sat on the porch, staring at nothing, knuckles tight, jaw locked, like he was holding back entire storms. She wanted to ask. She wanted to reach inside that silence and pull out the truth. But he always walked away first. Then came the day she found the old locket behind the horse stalls, dirt-covered but still shining when touched. Inside was a woman's face, young, beautiful, smiling. Someone Elias clearly once loved deeply. Clara stood there, heart sinking, and that was the moment she realized why it hurt. Why she hurt. She had already fallen for the quiet rancher, but he wasn't ready to love anything again. But fate doesn't wait for people to heal. It forces them to. Because that same night, a storm rolled in, fast, deadly, and dragging trouble with it. A gang of rustlers targeted Elias's cattle. Shots blasted through the darkness. Clara ran outside and saw Elias standing alone against 5 men. She screamed his name. He didn't look back. He stepped forward. Gunfire cracked through the rain. Clara grabbed a rifle and ran into the storm, fear burning through her like wildfire. She didn't care if he'd loved someone before. She didn't care if he would ever love her back. She only cared that he lived to see another sunrise. The storm passed. By morning, the rustlers fled, and Elias lay slumped against the fence, bleeding, refusing to fall. Clara knelt beside him, shaking. Why would you face them alone? He looked at her like she was the only thing not made of dust in his world. "Didn't want you hurt," he said. "Didn't want to lose someone. Again." She froze. "Again?" she whispered. He exhaled a breath he'd held for years. "The woman in the locket, Lydia, my wife. She died because I wasn't fast enough. I couldn't save her." His eyes glistened. "Didn't want to watch another person I care about fall because of me." Her heart stopped. You care about me?" He didn't speak. He didn't need to. His hand reached for hers, rough, trembling, desperate. She squeezed it, tears mixing with the rain. "Elias, you look at me because you're lonely and scared to want anything again." He swallowed. "And you," he whispered, "you look back." That broke the last wall between them. For weeks, Elias recovered, and Clara refused to leave his side. She cooked for him, argued with him, laughed with him, and discovered that the man who once hid behind silence could talk for hours when he finally trusted someone with the pieces of his heart. She learned the way he smiled when he wasn't thinking. He learned the way she hummed while working. She learned the ache he carried. He learned she was the one person strong enough to carry it with him. And somewhere in that time, slow, steady healing, they realized they no longer worked on the ranch just to survive. They worked for each other. But healing doesn't come without echoes of fear. One evening as Clara bent down in the barn, she felt his eyes on her again, watching, holding, wanting. She spun around, frustrated, flustered, overwhelmed. "Rancher, every time I bend down, you're watching me," she accused, voice trembling. "Don't you dare deny it." Elias didn't deny it. He stepped closer instead. "I watch you because you're the only thing that brings this place back to life," he said softly. "Because if I look away, I'm scared you'll disappear like everything else I ever loved." Her breath caught. She lifted a trembling hand and placed it on his chest. "I'm not going anywhere." For the first time in years, Elias Crowe let himself hope, let himself feel, let himself love again. Their story became one whispered across the Wild West, not because it was dramatic or violent, but because it was real. Two broken hearts, two stubborn souls, two people who saved each other not by being perfect, but by finally letting themselves be seen. And the inspiring message that stayed with every person who heard their tale was simple. Sometimes the thing we fear looking at is the very thing that can save us. And sometimes love doesn't ride in with thunder. It grows quietly, like dawn over an old ranch.